And we are live. Hello, and this is an NDDC joining in for another React discussion. This time for the finale of Amazing Digital Circus, which will probably be a clip dump discussion because it is 11 past 11:30, and there's a lot to break down with this series.
It is 11:37 EST time zone. Woo!
All right.
The year is 1805. Woo!
Random introductions through random meet order. I still want to say Skype after all this time.
Yep, right.
Skype is dead.
Skype did a lot of things wrong, but it picked a good name.
Well, that's because its name was picked before Microsoft got it.
Yeah.
So there was actual creativity.
Yeah.
All right, going in random meet order. Skater.
Hello there. How do you do? This is Gilliman Gator here. I would be the equivalent to a gummy goo in this scenario. I'm here and I'm very much like Myth that we don't get a feature of gummy goo in this finale. Like, oh my God, how disappointing this was. This episode was complete balls. 1 out of 10. Everything sucked.
Needs more gators. Needs more gators.
I'm not sure Pomni's ready to see gummy goo again anytime soon after Kane turned him loose.
We need more gators.
All right.
All right. And then next up, Jenn.
I am completely broken.
Oh no.
I can't even do the intro.
No.
Hold on. Crimson is my therapist friend. I think I gotta call him.
What? No. I'm literally I can't even do I can't even do my silly intro.
Oh God!
Isn't she lovely?
Isn't she
wonderful? Isn't
she fresh?
I'm like my singing voice.
Less than 1 minute.
Oh wait. Wait a minute. I am first and always Jenn. I am absolutely broken here.
I think I need to call my therapist friend Crimson on the phone. I think Jenn needs it. I need to get him on the phone.
Quick, somebody take over. Please.
Next up, Wolfgang.
Hello, everyone. I need to drop one quick lore thing now that we've watched the finale. Gooseworks has confirmed on Twitter officially that Jax is in fact a transgender woman. She has confirmed it officially. Not only her, but Ragatha's voice actor has confirmed Jax is trans. Pomni's voice actor has confirmed Jax is trans. The literal, fucking manager for, the merch, the social media director and the manager for the merch, Morgana Ignis, she confirmed that Jax is trans, and somebody on the animation team confirmed that Jax is trans, and Gooseworks says that Jax goes by she, her, and he, him. But Gooseworks has fully confirmed that Jax is trans femme. And as someone who's trans, I think that is the coolest thing ever, that the creator of the show has fully confirmed that Jax is trans. And I have been obsessed with learning every single fact about this stupid purple rabbit for the past 2 weeks, and I've gone on borderline psychotic rants to the second opinion about how much I am obsessed with this stupid purple rabbit. And all
so
of my
much
Instagram stuff.
Circumstance and building up to the reveal of it there. But yeah, the generally accepted fan interpretation that Gooseworks has now confirmed is that what Jax revealed to his mom and what he keeps behind the bolted chained door and what Ribbit was able to realize that putting the bow on his head symbolized that he was that scared that she was going to reveal is that he was an in-the-closet trans woman.
Exactly. Jax has been fully confirmed to be trans. And not only that, but there is so much amazing fan art of this that Gooseworks also had online that Jax's new name would be Daisy, causing there to be so much fan art of this one design that Gooseworks made of a feminine Jax, and this one comic she made of Jax if she wasn't an idiot. and is like a feminine Jax talking about how much she loves fucking Pomni and Ribbit and thinks that they would be a great couple of like Pomni and Ribbit. An official comic made by Gooseworks of like, what if Jax was a good person and has like, you know, feminine Jax, and confirmed that Jax is trans femme. So I have been obsessed with not only this rabbit, but the fan designs of this rabbit, because people have been doing a really good fucking job, and all of my Instagram stories is just fan art of transgender Jax. I love this stupid purple rabbit.
Gooseworks is on record stating that Jax is the character that she relates to the most. And in hindsight, with all his doubling down and tripling down on how masculine he is and how much swagger he has and how he is not, and I quote, a chicken fetus in an egg that just needs to be cracked open, and how his ears and tail are the pinnacle of masculinity, only he realizes he doesn't have a tail. It's like, boy, does a lot fall into place there.
And also, like, remember how, like, she was extremely angry when she was in the maid dress and was, like, extremely upset about it more than she had ever been upset before? And Zubul was the one to catch on to that.
Yeah, flustered. I don't want to go out there like this. Like,
yeah, like Jax got extremely flustered by that, and Zubul was the one to catch that. And Zubul is non-binary and has gender dysphoria, so they could clearly fucking tell.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, in context, that could like have been mistaken for, written off as, and was, for that matter, by me most of all, just being that toxically masculine. But how he acts when he's in the dress in his mind, the maid dress, it's like, yeah, we could probably do this all night if we just focus on this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just wanted to throw it out there because I've been absolutely obsessed with Daisy the Purple Rabbit. So let's go, Daisy. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Daisy the Purple Rabbit, man. Hate to see her go like this.
Daisy, Daisy.
Give me your answer, do.
I'm crazy over
the love of you.
It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't
afford a carriage.
But you look neat upon the seat
of a bicycle built for two.
The last step of the introductions is second and day.
Yeah.
No Daylover, unfortunately. She needed to hit the hay pretty bad. So, second opinion. Critic first, fan second opinion. Let's go.
Me or not?
Second opinion with no first. I know.
Oh, man.
So did both of you saw them in theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
No, I meant for second and day.
Yeah, we did. My non-binary friend, who's also the one who got me into this show, like I ended up beating them to the trailer for episode 9, and when I told them that I'd had a tease for it being in theaters, like we'd never even hung out outside of work, and they were like, "You want to go?" I was like, "All righty then."
Righty then.
That's nice. That's nice.
I see.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite episode, but it is the most episode of all of them. And yeah, as much, well, it's kind of like 3 separate episodes in one, honestly. But yeah, the Jax one with the full context revealed, like I do think this is kind of going to be remembered as Digital Circus's statement, and I don't really think we have another one of these, like a personal story, as Gooseworks has clarified that it is, on that level taken to this natural conclusion. So I mean, yeah, I guess I would have to say that if I had to guess, I'd say that on some level this is going to be remembered and cited as a milestone of that.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it was all set up and all the theaters aired this all on Pride Month. God damn it. They literally,
Like, literally,
right
I was
there.
just about to say something about that because it's just like Jax got confirmed as a trans woman and Zubul and Gangle got fucking confirmed. So it's just like, not just like non-binary and girl relationship. Bam. Trans girl. Bam. Both in Pride Month. Let's fucking get.
Yeah. That many oh yeahs. I'm just like, dang, we got played.
Wow.
You got played. You thought that it was going to be some sort of dystopian horror film that we were going to watch for the finale, but then it just turned out to be a depressing end for one being, yet the redemption and reconfiguration of another being, basically.
It's talk about unexpected.
Yeah,
talk about unexpected. Let's get
right. I mean, I
Unexpected.
yeah. I mean, of course, Wolfgang recognized it just from the tone of how Jax is talking in the final scene, and meanwhile, me, up until we had that conversation, just whoosh right over my head.
The only reason I was able to tell was because as I talked in a very similar way when I came out to my parents back in January, so I could tell from that because I came out to my parents as a trans man like in late January of this year. So I could tell by the way she was talking that there was something going on, and then all the pieces just came together.
I feel really dumb about not figuring out, like, when Wolfie, you when you were confirming about that Jax being trans, and all of a sudden I was like, what? And then all of a sudden I had to go through my brain and then see the scene with Ribbit and then putting the bow on his ear. I was like, what? And then all of a sudden when you said that, then it clicked. And
it's so crazy. Like in Pride Month too.
and then also another thing that clicked when Jax was saying, when it came to his father, that when it came to his mother, he was like, yes, I'm gonna do the right name. I'm gonna say the right sex.
Jax goes by he, him as well, by the way. Like, Goose said that either he, him, or she, her is fine.
Yeah. Fair. But fair. Here I am wanting to be respectful to this freaking rabbit when I
isn't she lovely?
Well, the gesture of trying not to be somebody who knows black stuff and grew up in the 90s. I'm gonna stick with she, her.
Less than 1 minute.
Here I am wanting to be respectful to the frickin' rabbit.
Let's go. You respected the rabbits. You respected the rabbits' preferred pronouns.
The rabbits' pronouns, and it's driving me mad. But
I love this rabbit.
But I was thinking about, but also another thing that should have. I feel mad at myself that it didn't click immediately. But when Jax was talking about her mother, that whenever she expressed like her emotions, it wasn't manly enough. But when she didn't, the mother would be like, "Oh, you're just like him." And as she's saying, it's like he missed her, he missed his father, but hated him. And that's another thing. I just figured it out. Another thing, dysmorphia, and toxic masculinity. It's like, especially when you have a parent that is perpetuating that, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to lean to. And
it's definitely very difficult having like a mother who's obsessed with toxic masculinity, who's taking out her divorce on you when you're literally a trans woman and trying not to tell her that because you knew she would react like this.
Right. You have a mother who is just fucked up in her own, who divorces, like, just fucked her brain in her own way and taking it out on the child. And then when you said trans and when you said he's trans, I was like, and all of a sudden it made those things just clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute.
She couldn't leave her husband's toxicity behind with him.
I think I'm not going to say I I'm not going to say I 100% get it, because you know what, I'm not trans, and of course there's it's not my own mind, it's not my experience. But the thing is like at the same time I'm like, damn it, I feel mad at myself that I didn't get it like right then, you know. But it had to be.
That's all good. Goose already said that she was like purposely trying to make it subtle, but that she was, and I quote, bad at making things subtle. But she was trying to make it subtle.
You know what? Honestly, that was pretty darn subtle. It's like, how do you tell a trans narrative without shoving it in somebody's face, without even saying, because I guarantee you, in this time and age, if you tried to tell a story about that, oh brother, if you try to tell a story that when you said the actual words and everything, and it was like right basically in your face, I mean,
in this day and age, like that is quite a needle to thread to neither go for like an operatic falcon punch of like, heck yeah, this is a trans narrative, but also like make it honestly like effective, something that probably will hit home for a lot of people and will make an impact even on people who don't relate to the narrative. And
it also might encourage, and you know what, even the worst part, it also might encourage someone to rewatch it. It might cause someone to actually rewatch it to get it, or even worse, in my case, it actually made me have sympathy for Jeff. I did not watch it. I did not. This is just like the same problem I had with Quibble Pants, MLP, and then you had the other episode they had of him with the cat and everything. It was like, dang it! Like, dang it! Now,
as I said last time, prepare to have that no sympathy for Jack's challenged.
In fact, I actually had a recent
and congratulations, it's now been challenged, and I am so pissed off, and that's why I feel like I've been broken.
You know, I actually have something personal to drop about this episode that like ended up being like, this part ended up breaking me with like the scene with like Jackson Ribbit of like Jackson's story with telling his mom, because unfortunately I had a very similar experience. I was 13 and I started to figure out my gender identity because I already knew that I was trans since I was 9.
Right.
I had a friend named Kaya, and I had walked up to her and I had told her about everything and how I've been questioning my gender identity.
Right.
She straight up laughs at me and tells me that I was over exaggerating and that I was just confused. I kept repeatedly trying to tell her that I had things figured out. She eventually gets pretty angry at me and ends up fully disregarding everything that I told her. At the time, I was questioning being non-binary to try and make the trans man thing like an easier thing to swallow later down the line. But I was trying to like test the waters to see how she would react to me saying I was a non-binary. It went really badly, and I ended up fully hiding it from her from then on. After that, I got outed by one of my quote-unquote friends to my entire friend group because they found my private Instagram. Kaya acted badly about it again, and for the rest of the year, exclusively referred to me as my dead name and she, her, over and over again, and would not even try to call me they, them, or my name at the time, Luna. And then this year happens, and I get accidentally outed a second time. She finds my social media and sees that I go by he, him now. She asks me every single question to not ask a trans person, is extremely uncomfortable by it, asks me if she can still call me my dead name when I already told her no, and tries insisting on calling me my dead name, even though she's known me since I was like 9, so she should know to not call me that. But she insists on calling me my dead name multiple times, and still, when we interact after that, calls me she, her, and refers to me as feminine terms. And in our conversation, she again acted like I was just confused, asked me all the questions about like if I was getting like trans related surgeries and all the shit that you don't ask. and kept asking me, like, do my parents know? I said, yes, my parents know. Do your friends know? Yes, my friends know. And kept asking me constant, intrusive questions, and was obviously taking it really badly, and never said she accepted me once. She just seemed extremely concerned and then frustrated because I kept pushing back, telling her my actual answers, and it seemed like she was getting more and more annoyed, even though she's known this for a long time. And I had told her I went by Wolfgang as a name back in 2023, again, to test the waters with her. And she again didn't take it well and never called me at once, and dead named me in front of one of my online friends when I introduced her to them back last year. Wow. So she was just obviously never supportive of me at all. And the worst part was,
I hope you've dropped this so-called friend like a bad habit.
The only annoying thing is that she keeps trying to like my posts and keeps trying to contact me again. I fully ghosted her, but she keeps on trying.
She keeps on coming back. It's like,
and it's really annoying because she knows what she did, because she also kept in contact with like all the worst people in my life and lied to me about it. And she did that directly before she took me coming out badly, which she wasn't even supposed to know about. I got outed by my social media that she found because she was looking for it. And the thing that sucked was that after all that, after everything she put me through about my gender identity, she would act so nice to me and act like we were best childhood friends and that we'd known each other for so long. And she would she would like hug me and call me her friend and say she was so sorry for all the bad things that happened to me with the people she's totally not still in contact with. And she would just act so nice to me and act like we were still such close friends and like nothing bad had happened, even though she's the main reason it took me this long to come out because of how bad her reaction was. Like, she's the main reason it took me this long to be out about it, just because her reaction was so fucking bad.
Right.
Okay, so edgelords in the audience, when people say that not everyone who's nice to you is good, not everyone who has your best interest not everyone who has your best interest to you is mean. I'm tying myself in knots here. When they say that not everyone who is nice to you has your best interest at heart and things like that, this is the kind of thing they mean.
Exactly.
Not that they're nice to you and then they don't listen to your political speech about Ayn Rand or something like that, or not that they don't edgelord good enough for you.
It's just like, it was so confusing, and eventually, like, I did a semi-similar thing to what Jax did, where she was where not physically, but I saw her and tried interacting with her, and she just kept ignoring me over and over again, so I cut her off. I left, and I never came back. The last time that I had seen her for an entire year was one time that we ended up at, ironically, a pride event together, because her mom was an ally and was trying to help the community. But we ended up there at the same time, interacted a little bit, and then she saw me hanging out with my other IRL friends at the time. But that was the last time we had interacted for like over a year. And then we started talking when I moved to the new house again. And she was acting so nice to me and like nothing bad had happened. And I trusted her for a while until she, a year later, showed the exact reason why I cut her off in vivid detail as soon as she found out about the he-him thing.
Oh my gosh.
And and it just sucks because as she's still friends with all the people who caused me so much harm, who were also transphobic towards me, even worse than she was, and she was still fucking friends with them and still encouraged everything they did. And it just feels so excluding to have her like constantly like talk about how she's so supportive of the community on social media when she couldn't even accept her own friend she knew since she was 6 years old. For all these years. And it's so annoying because she always acts like she cares. She doesn't.
Hey, she's a fake ally.
She doesn't. She always acts like she cares about me. She acts like she cares about the community. She doesn't. She hates it.
She's doing
it outside looking in. This reminds me so much of being back in the 2010s where allyship was all like, oh yes, I love everybody theoretically in a vacuum and support their, and then like if somebody would wonder if they were genderqueer or attraction queer, or there's a term for that second one that I'm not going to come up with, but yeah, there would be a lot of like, oh no, you're just like everyone else. Like that stuff only happens in extreme circumstances. Like there was a notion that we're accepting people now. That means that actually they were just like what we considered normalized all along. We're never going to have to step out of our comfort zones to accept this, are we? And I mean, here I am on my soapbox, but I mean, I was very much just sort of on the outside looking in, if not making these mistakes myself, because it's like you don't know what you don't know, including and especially in your 20s, that you really don't know all that much. Maybe you need to humble up first and say things later.
And even when you get old, and when you get older than that, I mean,
Funnily enough, I had another experience that was similar to that one scene. That this is like a shorter one, but this is one that also, like, funnily enough, is pretty similar. The way that Ribbit puts like the bow on Jax and then Jax blushes is very similar to something that happened to me last year, where it was like LGBTQ acceptance prom, and I wasn't out as trans yet, but they said that you could like cross dress, and I was like, So I dressed in a full men's tuxedo, and I had a guy come up to me and say that I looked handsome in the suit. And because of the way the suit was fitted, he thought I was a cis guy. And I felt so fucking validated because, again, I was also wearing platforms, so I looked taller than I was. Nice. So he thought I was a cis guy, and this was like the first time that I actually like passed. So I just like blushed and got really excited and like thanked him a bunch, and he seemed really confused about why I was so happy about the compliment. And then for the rest of the night, I was referring to myself as like one of the guys and kept doing random stereotypically male things that I knew how to do to kind of fit in with the other guys at the party. And it ended up fully working out for me. So much so, I think a couple people probably were able to figure it out just from the way I was acting.
Nice.
I think I need a Wolfgang palm beside face. Get
Hey. Okay.
So I definitely related to Jax a lot more than I thought I would from that one scene alone.
And second, you were right. And second, you were absolutely right. Prepared to have my disdain for Jax completely challenged. And yes, it has been challenged. Yes, it has been challenged. Yes, it has been challenged. I mean, look at me trying to use the right kind of pronouns for Jax. And I'm like, I did not want to have any sympathy for this. But
do not misgender the Daisy Rabbit.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, even mine has been challenged, because I mean,
yes, it has been challenged. I only say this only because of how Jax acted. It had nothing to do with gender or anything, but it was just how Jax was acting.
Yeah.
And that's what made me think of like, oh my God, he's such an asshole. I want to see this thing suffer, but only because only because of how Jax was acting.
Right.
And
like,
that's the reason
why Wolfie explained it to me, like the scene with him was like, whatchamacallit? Yeah, it seemed like a pretty good depiction of somebody who just like, did not have the personal security or the background or the
right, and
was too damaged to step away from their shield and their crutch.
Exactly. And I know what the backstory was for, and I know the backstory was for, and I know that it was, it's a defense mechanism, but at the same time, I was like, okay, it's a defense mechanism, and I was trying to take in like, okay, this is a defense mechanism. At the same time, and the other part of me was like, no.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, heck, as that really gets going, it's like, I mean, heck, even I had trouble like letting go of masculine posturing as someone who was raised to be dad's little stoic man of few words wrestler, when in fact the more I go into my 30s, the more it seems to turn out that I'm actually kind of a goofball. But that aside, like thankfully I had a mentor to teach me the value of ego death and all that. Like, let it go. You're doing yourself more harm than good. But Jax, the fact that
I also have a mentor who's taught me a lot, who's right here. Let's go.
But yeah, the things Jax says as like you realize she would rather go to her grave clutching this than open up. Like, you're not supposed to miss me. You're not supposed to love me. It's like,
right.
Dude, that is
it was
really
the
sucky thing to be stuck in, bro.
It was the constant thing. As like Jax had been like, I think just the family dynamic. It just screwed her over so much that it just screwed her over so much. I mean, it's now being shown like any kind of kindness, especially. And I'm thinking that must have been incredibly disarming for Ribbit from Ribbit and everything. That must have like absolutely just messed with him, and he had no idea. She had no idea how to accept, how to handle it. But
yeah, especially when Kaufmo showed up, because she felt more comfortable around Ribbit than Kaufmo with all that. So as soon as Kaufmo showed up, it was like, "Hey, what you doing in there?" Just like fully just ran away.
But actually, at the same time, I felt so sorry for Ribbit. I'm like, Ribbit just wants to help. But also, that's what happens when you deal with somebody whose defense mechanisms are just being an asshole, or
that's how you deal with someone's defense mechanism, which is pushing people away and being terrible to them.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I don't even think that Gooseworks wants us to think that it was okay because of what you realize about Jax.
Oh my god, one of my friends made a joke about this earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she wants, like, when Jax says I'm a bad person, you're not supposed to miss me, like, she wants her reason for saying that to be well-founded, even if it's the wrong thing to say. But I mean, it's like at the same time, the edge it does take off is like, you feel like, you can't understand, or you can't formulate a good reason that somebody would fall down this rabbit hole other than sadism. And then like, you insert that missing piece of the puzzle, Jax's deep dark secret. It's like, okay, no, there is a reason that somebody would be that scared and
exactly
cope and fight down and mask this hard.
All right.
The joke that my friends were saying earlier was just like a joke with Jax being like, well, hey, Jax is extremely depressed. Jax is extremely depressed and suicidal, but hey, at least we got to see Jax's friends.
But also, easy to write.
Okay, well, I guess to be fair, we have been commandeering this a while. If Gator and DC want to get a word in, as it sounds like they do.
Well, I say because we need to probably start wrapping up somewhat soon, so I want to move on to some of the other subjects.
I was gonna genuinely also say I might have not had any sympathy for Jax that entire time I watched it in theaters.
I mean, it makes sense for what you did to Ribbit.
Well,
yes.
At least somebody's continue to resent Jax. Things stayed intact.
It's like
the balance is restored.
For me, I'm just simply saying, like, the thing that honestly actually got an emotional response from me It's not even like finding out Kane was alive, but legitimately just hearing Mooney say that she genuinely loved him to a reformed Kane who just came back to the circus and just was like, I didn't program you to love me. And she was like, I know. I'm just like, that was the only moment in that entire special that I'm just like, well, I actually care way more about Kane, a lot more than a lot of other people, because guess what happened after episode 8? There were so many death threats for the voice actor for Kane or the creators about Kane just being like, oh, we hate this AI. Oh, it turns out it was true. Kane was the evil AI overlord for in this series, just like the original inspiration. And it's like,
well, they proved him wrong, and hopefully they can get legal help for the fucking voice actor.
Yeah. Well, Kane is presented sort of as somebody like the inverse of Jax here. And I guess that there is sort of a reason that we see his resolution right after we see how it turns out for Jax, that Kane, as much as he was tempted to, does not fall all the way down the rabbit hole of like, okay, no, I'm going to double down and triple down on my toxic compensating until either you or I goes to our grave. And yeah, I'm not going to just tell myself that, yeah, I have a good reason for being this way, that because even if that were true, like Kane could have justified it to himself. He could have said that their self-defense was actually an attack on him if he wanted. He could have said that he got screwed out of the gate, but he is the one who sort of looks past his own ego and says that, you know, okay, like just being toxic, you know, it might make the complicated feelings go away, but it doesn't actually get me any closer to what I want or what is right by them. So I'm gonna have to humble up and do the work here. And yeah, his ending, like I said, the inverse. We see him derp-de-during, falling on his face a lot at the end, but like, yeah, even as things aren't just like blandly joyful, even if as there is give and take to it, like he gets happier and happier. And yeah, it's sort of like, I mean, I don't know if there's a particular metaphor to Kane's story, and probably not, but unless somebody wants to correct me on that. But yeah, it does seem like he is intended as the depiction of somebody who, yeah, does not let the fact that it would be very understandable if he did succumb to his wounds, get him to succumb to his wounds. Like he's the, yeah, and it's not even so much preachy as it is like, yeah, this kind of thing comes for you, and here's how you end up like Kane and not like Jax.
But
so
someone who could heal and someone who couldn't.
Yeah, I just want to say an interesting thing I noticed is like, seemingly it was actually the able part of Kane that seemed to be depicted as the evil part of him, or the progeny, because
the blue AI, that Kane absorbed.
Well, Kane did eat the blue one at the beginning, so we could say that that's Abel if we were so inclined.
Yes. That's the real Abel, not the mannequin Abel that he made up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that was the metaphorical thing. Is like the blue thing he let go, which is like, because the way it was depicted before, at least seemed like that Kane was the evil side. But it seems like it sort of wasn't. Like Kane, it seems to be more just the chaotic side and sort of more actual AI instead of like algorithmic AI. Was seemed to be was.
Yeah, I think that the Kinger said that they were like studying creative AI in the late 90s, and that's how they made Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kane was the greatest achievement, but the blue one, Abel, was meant to improve on that, and Kane, I guess, ate it before they could perfect that. And then
so Kane is like Kane is like the imperfect AI. Abel is the more polished AI, and then he ate the more polished AI and created one extremely powerful AI, and then he took the more powerful side of him out of his head, threw it into the void, and now he's here.
It's just stuff like that. It's like kind of showcase even the person who was like a victim could still hold the most resentment, even to strangers that they might not know, like by through shared experiences, perhaps, or maybe just because they were also incomplete, even though they were working way more proficiently compared to Kane before. I just feel like in this story, like it was very easy for people to just easily vilify Kane just because of the status of society right now with AI and how much people just don't want to deal with like the environmental consequences of the bad data centers and all that jazz. And it's like, I just feel like it's kind of like a weird thing, like going back 20 years in which we would showcase like stuff about AIs in a bit of a more positive sense or in a more imaginative sense, while also having some depictions being negative and whatnot. It's like a weird mix of like, do you know whether or not if we were set propaganda or not? And then like as we go along to like in current media with like depictions of AI, if we're supposed to justify them as their own beings, or should we should just discriminate them just because on the basis of their existence just being something negative to us as a whole in reality. It's like that's how I feel why that sort of like cloud of negativity was going on for Kane and why barely anyone was talking about Kane at the end of this episode. And I'm like, I'm the only one that probably came out of that theater probably feeling like, huh, I felt more for Kane and the Moon than I ever did for Jax.
I'm trying to remember, like,
I also really love Kane. Love Kane, actually. I really do appreciate his redemption arc, and I feel like him being able to, like, you know, he's on more of a equal ground with the other characters, and not just because he has less power, but also because the characters ended up being brain scans. So they're not like actual humans trapped in the circus like how we thought with, you know, the stasis pods that Abel made up. They're actually just brain scans. Brain scans while the real people are walking around and not knowing that there's digital copies of their brains. But that's the thing, they're digital copies. They're copies of real people's brains, but they're not real. They're just
the episode
files.
wisely doesn't go into that too much, like what does it mean to be a brain scan, because like for all intents and purposes every last ounce of electricity and neurons and information that is in the real brains are in these people. So it's like, I mean, did he basically did Scratch Mike Dobbs basically create life, or are they still not allowed to say that they're more than AI? It's like,
he's on semi more of an equal ground with the other characters now that he like has confirmation that they're brain scans, though, because they used to think that they were just raw human people trapped in there, but now that we know that they're just scans of real people's brains that are small file scans of real people's brains in the program with Kane, even though Kane is an AI and not based on any real person, I feel like Kane and feels like he's on a. I feel like part of Kane's redemption arc was realizing he was not that different to the other files in the circus. Because when you boil it down, they're all just files in a little folder on a little computer somewhere in an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, truthfully, we out in the real world are not much more significant. But
true.
That said,
I feel like Kane realized they were all just like more on equal ground when it comes to how insignificant they were.
Some ways. I mean, like, well, as far as emotional beats, the episode does unequivocally continue to play the residents of the circus like they're real people with real feelings. But on the other hand, it also does that with Kane.
I also kind of have to say something about the earlier part of the episode that I felt a bit off. Like, did any of you guys felt weird when Pomni said Ragatha was her closest friend?
Yeah, the shipping wars have been going crazy now. Stay strong, soldier.
I don't so much see it as like a reveal of how it had been all along, but like a revelation that they've like in times of duress, things that weren't clear before in your mind become clear to you.
They also are like showing a lot of signs of physical touch, very similar to Gangle and Zubul, which is the reason why, after the hugging scene of those two constantly like touching each other in the background, everybody was just like, yeah, so let's just say the ship between Pomni and Ragatha has never been this popular online, and the shipping wars are totally not getting insane right now. Stay strong, soldier.
I mean, I just kind of wish that there might have been a bit more examples of like Pomni actually hanging out with like Ragatha, instead of like the moment in which we see her dismissing like her love of softball, basically from the previous adventure.
I think it's because leading up to this, like we've seen Pomni just like hanging out and trying to connect more with Jax for like the last 3 or so episodes.
Yeah.
It just felt more like a weird shift to go back to Ragatha, but Ragatha was sort of like the first one she did open up to, and more connection to. Just like when she tried to get her was more comfortable, she became more comfortable around Jack. And
well, there was but like as it sort of fell through with Jax at the end of 6, like Pomni realized that Ragatha was the emotionally supportive friend still there waiting for her, and they kind of walked up to each other at the end of that, and it was implied that they were going to reconcile and that their bond was going to persevere and all that.
Yeah, I just kind of feel really bad for Ragatha at the end of it all because of fandom discourse. Like,
absolutely, Ragatha is always demonized in the fandom.
But speaking of demonizing,
yeah, demonized. Yeah.
But I was saying, speaking of demonizing, like this fine finale answer a lot of questions, but it's also sort of left a few things open. I think one is what exactly is abstracting. Besides,
funnily enough, that's a question that my mom had asked when we came out of the theater.
I think the general idea is
this question. Yeah,
I think the general idea is like that they lose their mind, but like it seems to be like a more process. So like it is more like they change and they can't change back. Like it sort of seemed to be setting up that they might be able to save Jack, but they're like, nope, he extracted. So it's like there's no coming back from this, just calming them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like sort of implied that then you can still reach them on some level. Like straight up looking around right now, the popular fan interpretation seems to be that abstraction equals suicide, the end, which is really not my favorite interpretation. And
there's only one thing that's like confusing me about it, because like the brain scans are in an obsolete folder. What do the brain scans do when they're in the obsolete folder? Because it's obsolete. Do they just like, is it just like brainless entities like running around trying to?
Well, it might have been put in the obsolete folder because Kinger and Mike Dobbs, like just assumed that it was a dead end or whatever, but then that's just where Kane got it out of and decided to bring people to life from.
Yeah, that was from the past.
Yeah, I think it's implied that the brain scans were just like data, but like it was
what do the obsolete brain scans do though? Like when the characters are abstracted, do the brain scans of the abstracted characters do anything? Like, are they just not used anymore? Are they in a recycling bin or something?
Those brain scans brought to life, and then they go into this state of abstraction where they're just not cognizant the same way anymore.
Like corrupted files. It's like corrupted files. Think about it like that. Like what was like in the obsolete files? That was like before they got created into Digital Circus.
One of them said Abigail. What's her name? So I think
Abigail Brooks.
That's Pomni's real name. So or real person name. So I think that was just like a look at how Kinger got them at, like where Kinger got them from in the first place. I said Kinger, where Kane got them from in the first place.
Yeah.
And, like how he went about bringing them to life. And I don't think that there's more to it than that.
But I think it's a combination. Like my guess is like as a combination of like insanity, but also sort of like breaking what they are, which is as the episode like shows, they're actually just programs or AI themselves that sort of based off of human brain scans. They're still a program, and so like if you give a impossible question to a computer, it can break it, sort of thing. I feel it's like the insanity.
Oh, that makes sense.
If they reach a certain point of insanity, their program breaks, and like that's where it just becomes a mess. And like when you freeze a computer or something like that, parts of it still might sort of work, but at the same day they don't. That's why they can be sort of responsive, especially if they're calm or like low powered.
Yeah,
but
I mean, like, yes, someone who has committed suicide does not need confinement. They do not become a danger to you. They do not reach a state where they can sometimes be pacified or like need to be in their healthier environment. Like I could understand grouping suicide under what abstraction is a stand-in for, but yeah, I think it's a stand-in for just quote unquote losing someone where they're not with you the same way.
It's like identity theft, like say a la Alzheimer's, basically.
Yeah, kind of like how Steven Universe and Fusion is a metaphor for a lot of different bonds, like for love of father son, but romance bonding, or best friend or a lover. It's all kind of grouped under that umbrella. I think that's kind of abstraction and losing someone.
So
honestly, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people think about suicide, it's like the same mistake happened when it came to Ruby, but then again, similarly, it was the creators who kind of made it that way with their final season and such.
But
about a similar idea.
But I just want to ask, we sort of get applied by a lot of them extracted, but what was the clown's name? Klepto? Kaufmo. Like, does everyone think like the reason he abstracted is because he figured out that they are programs?
Probably. It was probably the case.
Yeah, because he was trying to look
as good a reason as any.
Because like he was going far trying to escape and all that, then suddenly he found it. It's like, oh, I found the answer, which I've just found like basically peeked behind a wizard's curtain, and the same way that basically what pushed Jack over pushed him over. And
no, it wasn't even the thing that pushed Jax over to abstraction. Jax just kept on distancing themselves.
Well, Jax was already on the edge. This is just what pushed him over. I'm saying.
I mean, we saw him like be right there so many times.
Also, does anyone want to say like it was an interesting choice to basically abstract them off screen?
Not make it a big show. It's basically like the reverse of what Jax's presence has always been.
They wanted to make it hurt.
Honestly, how quietly and straightforwardly it does both the reveal that they're brain scans and Jax's abstraction. Because I mean, we were all like, "Oh, they're gonna do it." Do they get like? We all felt. I mean, I guess that's the joy, quote unquote, of fan theories, feeling like you pulled back the curtain before they got a chance to. And I mean, instead, it just like doesn't even dwell on the pulling back the curtain so much as just like how deep this cuts. I'm like, okay, you win this round, Digital Circus.
But I actually want to go to like that. Like, so how many people by this point, and at least when you original watched it, suspected something along the lines of like the brain scans not being actual people?
I'd only suspected it because of the MatPat video.
Yeah, I heard that. It was not my first guess. Like, I actually was, like quietly betting on the long odds that it was going to turn out that, we see Gengel hit by the car so many times, and we see Jax driving the car that may or may not have hit her, and we learn about Pomni going into totally safe abandoned buildings, that it was going to turn out they're all on life support, and that the reason somebody got a green light to do this to them is that it's the only life they can have now. And I got the only life they can have now part right, but I mean, I did not fit on the right fan theory.
Yeah, I suspected there was something like this for a while, just because just the way how they are phased in. Like, I was Palmy, like, she seemed surprised, like, oh, she was putting on VR thing, and then she's there. And just reminded me, like, how, like, it sort of felt like it was like a split, like, she put something and was scanned. It seemed like I brought before, like, how people talk up the ethical debate around teleportation, which is you're scanning your body and teleporting to an area, but really you're being rebuilt and your original body is destroyed. So are you really like, did you technically die in that situation? Which is like, I was my guess for this was like I was like, okay, they probably scanned at some point, like when she did put in a VR goggle.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So, like, you're just saying about Star Trek, like controversy about the whole tractor beam, basically.
Yeah, that's a lot of controversy is like about that kind of teleportation.
I mean,
Which,
sorry.
no, saying which there is actually a loophole around this, which is like Star Trek style is very much that debate. There's also the Stargate style, which is uses wormholes, which um theoretically isn't it's more like either suspending your atoms or just basically the wormhole technology where you're just moving through a wormhole space, not actual being rebuilt. It's just sort of like going through wormhole. So there is ways around teleportation like that, but like in terms of the Star Trek way of like being atomized and then re-atomized, it's sort of like you sort of died in a lot of interpretations.
I'm just sort
I
of
mean,
like,
I'm making my way through Star Trek with Daylover for the first time, but it seems like there's a lot they say about like, we have their atoms in mid transport or whatnot. So I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if they say anything about like making new ones. I don't think it does not appear to be like a cloning process. Like, oh, we took the old one down there and we made a new one up there and we threw the old one away. I mean, it's the same atoms, no?
But it's still breaking apart. It's like if you break down a Lego set, like that was living beforehand and rebuild it, like, well, you still sort of killed it, even if you use the
I
same
guess
part.
technically, but like if you put the same cells and the same energy back together in like such the same pattern that it still remembers everything that happened before to a T, like, what can be concluded, but that, okay, that you brought the exact same thing back to life to be the exact same thing it was before. Like,
but also, like going in this context is like you could, if you scan it completely at that level, you could technically just make copies, which is sort of where going.
But I mean, they're made of the literal same materials and energy, and not even copy. So, see, I'm thinking too much about this. This is what you do to me when you start getting me down.
Yeah, that's just like it's been. I watch a lot of anime discussion and podcasts which has brought up this idea of like teleportation. Like, is it technically death and all that? So like I had this idea planted. So when like the way Pomni was introduced, like she was scanned in and like they're all confused. Like I got the idea like it's sort of like they're like split off like a what's the word? What's the thing that you shine light through it? A prism. It was like I imagined them as sort of like a prism where like they're scanned, but like this was split off. And I feel like that's what my fear for a while was, especially since they seem to have distorted memories and all that. Like they couldn't remember their real name. And I was like, okay, this is possibly not real. And also just like the way like a lot of this stuff gets like you're trapped in a world, like sort of like animes and all that, like say Sword Online does it, like they sort of explain why they aren't just unplugged. They sort of like said like, oh yeah, they don't do that because like they unplug, like it kills them. But like here's like it's so like okay, if they were stuck here for a while, when like if they're really in the real world, like remove them or something like that. So like yeah, there's a lot of things I felt like there's set up for like they're not actually humans in a pod.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So props for being able to spot that, because that was another one that, like, probably always would have gone whoosh if I hadn't heard the fan theory. And I already told you what I came up with what I came up with when I did try. That said, what I did not expect even after hearing the fan theory is the from a narrative standpoint, and I want to talk about this one if I run out of time to talk about anything else. As far as the purpose it serves, I think it's a metaphor for mourning your perfect self.
Honestly, it kind of feels like that.
Morning.
Yeah, like at the end there when they see like the story about these quote unquote real versions of themselves that are just like have basically made their dreams come true. Like there's really not a story of the bunch that is less than what you hope for, or even is not a little bit more than what you would have hoped for them, and all of them, being encouraged by that like, yeah, you did have that in you. It's not going to happen because, your life didn't go that way. You had it dragged sideways to here. You've been through breakdowns. You've lost people. But I mean, that's not because you're not that person and you don't have it in you. That's just because something happened to you. That's how it works out sometimes. But that doesn't mean that the life you have now can't still be beautiful, as they segue straight to from there, like how they're trapped in a more static place, like how they're not going to ever have as wide an influence as these theoretical other versions of themselves, although it pushes that button even more by having the perfect selves be the quote unquote real ones and the trapped ones be digital. But that aside, yeah, it's like they learn all of these things and they accept that these perfect selves are beyond them now, and they come together and they continue to deal with their traumas as best they can and overall successfully, and they kind of make the new versions of their dreams come true. That I think is another and I mean, I think it's going to go somewhat overshadowed by the more fun things to talk about, but I mean, I kind of see that as the point in the end here, and I kind of really appreciate that, because I don't think we have a lot of stories that say like, typically when we see this kind of thing, they try to go the route of like, no, this is how it was always meant to turn out. Nothing is wrong here. It's like, and I mean, you could philosophically go like, everything happens for a reason in the literal sense, so this is the only way it could have turned out, and yada yada yada. But it's like, okay, no, you did lose something, but like, well, what's the way to put it? But I mean, lots of people lose stuff. You're not still a person for that. You don't not still have wonderful things to offer and a life to live. And in some ways, that can be like more beautiful than just a perfect life. Like, the 5 real world versions at the end see each other in a bus stop and they're just whatever people, but in this life that involved a lot more damage, they've all really made each other's day and each other's millennium, as it seems to be.
All right, but I guess that said, we probably need to be wrapping up because I didn't realize it was 12:40.
I mean, this was a movie. You gotta expect us to be yapping about this.
Yeah, well, I said we have I said eventually we're going to do probably the next react is going to be our discussion of the series as a whole, like reflecting back at it. But until then, see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Yeah.